நம்மளும் தெரியுமா கமலா இல்ல?
Hello, Avinash.
Hello, hi Ashok, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Fine, fine.
இங்க எல்லாரும் தெரிய மாட்டேன், எப்படி தெரியும் நம்ம? 47, 46.
बंद करून टाक माझं video.
I am putting everyone on mute now. The co-host can unmute themselves. Co-host, please unmute as per the requirement. And I have put all others on the mute. So, Mr. Ashok, can we start now?
Yes, of course. I'm ready when you are ready.
Okay. So, a warm good afternoon to one and all. It is a privilege to have you all here for this beautiful crosstalk series with Mr. Ashok Vasandani on the magic of why. As I introduce the North India section of the Textile Institute, it was established in 1989 to promote professionalism in all areas associated with the textile industries worldwide. It brings together professionals from North India in setting the professional standards, a learned society, advanced knowledge, and industrial practices. The members of NISTI possess professional expertise diversely covering ancillary areas of management, art, design, economics, and so on. NISTI also works for finding the professional talent for the textile industry, infusing textile education and training among the young professionals, recognizing the excellence of industry, academic organizations, and promoters the knowledge through the publications and the conferences like the present one. NISTI was formally inaugurated on 24th of May 1989, and we are soon going to celebrate our Founders Day at IIT Delhi. And subsequently, in 2007, we got transformed into Association of Persons registered as a society and re-christened ourselves at NISTI registered. With these words, I hand over the floor to Professor Vinod Shanbag to introduce and request him to introduce the speakers and Dr. Lal, who will be conversing with Mr. Ashok and take you forward through the journey. Over to Professor Shanbag.
Thank you, Dr. Yadav. In my capacity as chairman of the NISTI registered, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all on this very hot afternoon to what could be a very scintillating talk by Mr. Ashok Vasandani. NISTI has a regular webinar service which aims at knowledge development of professionals as well as students in the textile related institutions of India. And once a month, we feature on and focus on knowledge development for professionals, and once a month again, then in the second fortnight, for students. This time we decided to make a move slightly away from the typical textile-oriented presentations that our webinars have been aiming at. That is because in The Magic of Why, a book which was introduced by Dr. Lal to all of us on behalf of Mr. Ashok Vasandani, we found that there would be a lot of interest generated amongst professionals on matters that matter a hell of a lot to each of them. When problems arise around them, there are issues, how to tackle them, and so on and so forth. No one amongst us is ever free of any problem. And in that respect, Mr. Ashok Vasandani, who himself is a textile professional with about 20 to 25 years experience, has done deep study on the motivational methodology for overcoming problem areas in professional life and also in everyday life. Um, we have today with Mr. Ashok Vasandani, two other gentlemen. I mentioned Dr. Lal, who introduced the book to me and to others in history. Dr. Lal has been with the Government of India, serving in various capacities, starting with the Textile Commissioner's Office, and then moving on to NID upon retirement, as well as with ATDC in New Delhi. And currently he is consultant in the Ministry of Commerce on a very significant project. Also in the team today, as part of the webinar team, is Mr. Dilip Ganchandani, one of our very prominent members, prominent in history, who was regional director of Intertech, the quality organization, at one point of time, nearly 10 years ago. Followed again with a very prestigious assignment as regional director of Bullmark Company, India, and is currently functioning as a independent consultant. This trio will now be dealing with the magic of why. I really hope that the magic is well explained and it doesn't remain magic anymore, and the magic is revealed to us. As children interested in magic always, we shall look forward to this magic of magic, okay, being exposed to us. And I wish the threesome, the trio, the best in the next 60 minutes forward. Over to you, Dr. Lal, to conduct the proceeding.
Thank you, Dr. Sandbag and Dr. Vijay Yadav, for nice introduction about the NISTI and the purpose of holding this webinar today. When Mr. Vasandani wrote the book and he informed me, and in fact, he wanted my preface to be written for his book. Then naturally, I had to go through that book for writing the preface. And in the process of going through the book, I found it very interesting. And I thought that I should circulate it to my friends and associates so that they can also get benefit from the experience of Mr. Vasandani. As Dr. Sandbag also has informed to everybody, Mr. Vasandani was a technocrat from UDCT. And after that, he did MBA, and then he joined Bombay Dyeing. And after Bombay Dyeing, he was elevated to the post of vice president in Ashima Dyeing. And he left that position of Ashima Dyeing after serving for a few years, just to take up the role of international corporate trainer and motivational speaker, so that the wide spectrum of societies get benefited from his experience and the essence of his knowledge. Before I start asking certain things about his book for the benefit of audience from Mr. Vasandani, I would like to request Mr. Vasandani to say a few words about his book for the benefit of the audience, for the benefit of the participants, so that the things can be understood in a better manner. Floor is yours, Mr. Vasandani.
Thank you, Lal sir. Dr. Shanbag, Dr. Vijay Yadav, Ms. Chatterjee, and Dr. Lal. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk to these distinguished members of this august organization, NISTI. And my thanks to everyone who is attending this webinar for making out time to attend to it. आप सभी का स्वागत है और आप सभी को नमस्कार, Hare Krishna. Before I brief about my book, can I request all of you to consider some of the situations which we face in the life? Situations are like we are required to do a task that we have never faced earlier in our lives. The task that is absolutely new to us. we face a task that is an uphill task, a task that may involve finances which are substantial, a task that appears to be very difficult, a task that may involve resources which are possibly beyond our reach. When we face such kind of situations, what is our immediate reactions to such situation? What comes to our mind immediately? First, most of the time, most of us think like, how can I accomplish this task that is totally new to me? How can I complete this task before the deadline? How will I reach there, a place totally unknown to me? How am I supposed to approach that new client? How can I acquire a bigger home? How can I take that trip to Europe or USA that I have been wanting to take for so many years? As you see, we always think on how, and how. Most of us are stuck with our house, isn't it? Actually, the secret lies in why, not in how. This book, Magic of Why, is about my extensive research about the nature of why and the nature of how, and their impact on our efforts to achieving results. It's my extensive research. This book basically is for two kinds of people. First is that class of people who dream. What I mean is who dream while they are awake and they want to realize those dreams, irrespective of the fact whether those dreams are personal, professional, materialistic, or spiritual. They can realize those dreams by following the concepts as mentioned in the book. The second class of people are those people who have faced the situations that I highlighted earlier. And you will agree that all of us present here must have faced such kind of situations at one time or the other. So the second class of people includes all of us. Now, this is what this book is about, The Magic of Why. It helps the reader in utilizing the concepts of why and realizing your dreams. The book mentions not only the concepts, but goes on to encourage the reader to change his attitude from being with his how to move on to the attitude of why. And to help him change that attitude, I have also mentioned the scientific procedure, how anyone can adopt, how anyone can develop any kind of attitude that one wants to develop. So this is in brief about the book. So over to you, Lal sir.
You have good, Mr. Vasandani. You have explained in very brief manner the essence of your book. I hope your book will be useful for the readers once they get to know their queries clarified from you. The matter, as I suppose I felt in your book, is that one has to change from how can I do it to why I can't do it. The total book revolves around that. How can I do it means it drags us down. I am means filled up with fear that I will not be able to do it. But why can't I do it means taking a challenge. So you took the challenge in your life also. As I stated in my talk to begin with, that you were working in a very renowned corporate company and from there you left to undertake the job of corporate trainer, which could have been a ruining decision for you, because the post you held there, it was a very competent post, and from that you had to leave it as a trainer to take the role of trainer to benefit the wider spectrum of the society. So, of course, in a part, I have replied to your question. Means I have replied to my question itself, which I am going to pose before you. Is that when you were a successful corporate employee, what prompted you to leave it to take up the role of corporate trainer, and now this book, Mr. Vasandani?
Sir, first of all, thank you for your best wishes that this book should be able to contribute in the lives of larger section of society. Thank you very much for those wishes. Sir, as you said, I was a successful corporate employee. Yes, I was. But apart from being a corporate employee, I was very passionate about training people. I was not only passionate, but I lived that passion when I was an employee also. I took it on myself to train my juniors well. And I trained them so well that some of them have grown in their career to become senior managers, general managers, vice presidents in their organizations. Presently, they are holding those kind of responsibilities. Now, after some time, I realized that my training is getting restricted to on-the-job training, as well as it was restrained in the boundaries of an organization. So I took a decision to move ahead and start my own organization under the name of Minar Management, where we started with two activities: corporate training and a personality development institution. This book, this current book, Magic of Why, is for the same purpose, to contribute in the lives of larger section of the society. And I'm very pleased to inform you that the kind of comments I'm getting from the readers worldwide are really very, very encouraging. So,
Mr.
over to you,
Vasandani,
Lal.
Mr. Vasandani, Magic of Why. The title of the book brings excitement. Like Dr. Shanbag said, magic. Children are liking magic, and magic is being played. So everybody expect here what magic is there in your book for them. And certainly participants will be having so many questions, so many curiosities to get clarified from you during the question answer session when it is given to you. My query with you that when the book title brings so excitement, and you are also claimed that it realizes the dream of any individual who has the dreams, can you enlighten the participant how it translates into this reality to realize one's dreams? Mr. Vasandani.
Sir, as Dr. Shanbag said in the beginning, and now you also said that what is the magic in this? So there's a very famous saying, magicians never tell. But here, I'm supposed to tell about the magic. So generally, when we see the word magic comes in front of us, there's a feeling of awe and expectation of amazement. That is exactly what this book does. Amazement and awe. Sir, let me ask you a question before I proceed further. Whenever you buy a book, what exactly you expect by reading it, when you read it? By you, I don't mean you, I mean all present. Just think about it.
I will reply on behalf of the participants. Value of money, value of time which we are spending in reading the book, and value of energy that we are giving to read the book. all should come when a person is reading the book, and he expects that that value should come from any book he is buying and reading. Mr. Vasandani.
Perfect, sir. As you rightly said, value for money, value for time. Yes, and that becomes visible where that the book should be able to add to your knowledge. It should be able to add value to your personal development. There's one more thing a book is supposed to do, that is to reinforce your faith in your own decisions by creating supplements to whatever decisions you have taken in your lives till today. And that becomes possible only when the book is based on the real life experiences. And that is exactly what I have done in this book. I have quoted various real life experiences, my personal, my colleagues, my bosses, my friends. And after quoting those experiences, I have analyzed the essence of that. I've taken the essence of those experiences, developed the concept, and then developed a procedure which anyone can adopt to achieve success in their life. Now, since the book is based on real life experiences, the readers find it very interesting because at some stage or the other, they would have experienced similar experience, maybe not all, but one or two of the experience in their lives. As they are able to identify with those experiences, it becomes very easy for them to accept the concept and channelize the procedure to achieve success in their lives. That's what is happening that's what the magic is about the book.
Thank you, Mr. Vasandani. Dr. Yadav has prepared a poster for sending it to the potential participants. There he has very nicely and very briefly detailed that your how should not be hijacked by why to make the why stronger. So that means why can create magic as long as it is not hijacked by how. Have you faced such situation in life, in your life? If so, what lesson you have in your book for readers to learn? Please tell.
Sir, let me compliment Dr. Vijay Yadav for mentioning that why can create magic only if it is not hijacked by how. Thank you, sir, and compliments to you. Sir, I had faced exactly this situation where my how had killed my dream. You know, my how in that time, it actually happened very early in my career. My how at that time was so strong that I refused the position of being the chairman of my own institute, IIMI, from where I did manage. My how was so strong that I just could not, accept it. When I look in the hindsight, I realize what a mistake I did. By accepting that position, I could have contributed in a great way in my own institute. I realize now that my contribution could have taken the institutions to the newer heights, but it could not happen because my how hijacked my dreams. Luckily for me, as I said, it happened very early in my career. And since it happened very early in my career, I learned from it very fast. After that, I never allowed my how to overpower me. And my all decisions were ruled by my why. Now, this helped me in my professional career. As you rightly said, I rose to top positions in my professional career. I could have risen if I had taken that position, if my how had not interfered with my dreams. I could have risen in my professional career at a very rapid speed. So even apart from my goal of contributing in institution, I also lot my personal professional growth. But that happened since I changed myself very fast and growth happened very fast. So over to you, Lal sir.
Well, Mr. Vasandani, you are advocating in terms of stronger why. See, Dr. Sandbag has given an introduction about Nishti's strength, and you are also seeing many faces in front of you. Most of Nishti members and EC members, etc., are all very successful in their life. They are fully satisfied that way. So for such persons, such people, even me, if I think about me, I say I am a successful person. I get results of my actions. I got results of my actions. Why should I exert for more? What your book has for persons like me, if I feel I am a successful person, my actions are giving results, then why should I go for a book like Magic of Why and read it, pay money for it, and waste time for it? Mr. Vasandani.
Sir, again, it's an excellent question, sir. Please accept my compliments for asking this question.
Thank you.
Sir, as you rightly said, we all, all of the executives who are attending this webinar, we all have taken actions in our life and we have seen success. And it's a very right question that what this book can add to my value. Sir, just think about it. If you ask anybody what is success, they have different definition for success. Somebody will say having a lot of money is success. Somebody will say rising to the top position in an organization is success. Somebody will say having a lot of cars and Bangalore is a success. Someone will say having a loving family is success. Now, everybody having different definition, but one thing is common, that success is becoming visible only in the results as per these definitions. But my book is not about results. My book is about the process to achieve success. Now, since all of us are successful, corporate executives in our own way, I'm sure all of us know that when we take any task or when we take any endeavor, we face failures along the way. Not one, but plenty of them. This book is about how to tackle those roadblocks, how to tackle those failures. Sir, Winston Churchill had said, success is the ability to go from one failure to other without any loss of enthusiasm. So one requires to maintain that enthusiasm when he faces the failure on his path, and failure he'll definitely face. There's no one here who has not failure and overcome that failure. Now, if this book, my research about why shows that why can increase your enthusiasm. It can become your anchor for enthusiasm, and that enthusiasm will help you in tackling your failures and moving ahead in that. Otherwise, just imagine a person who doesn't know how to overcome those blocks of failures, and he simply leaves that path. He moves away from that path. Can he achieve success? It's not possible. So one must learn how to tackle those failures, and it is this why which creates enthusiasm, and this enthusiasm helps in tackling those failures and keeping the person on the path to success. So my book is not about results. It's about the process to remain on the path to success. Over to you, sir.
From the process and failure, Mr. Vasandani, I drive another question. See, the people who are keeping in mind so far, our participants may be thinking what you are talking is about the employees who have not faced much of failures, who have not faced much of challenges. Their life comparatively has gone smoothly. Like for example, me, I have not faced so many much failures in my life, and my life has gone totally smoothly. But I am now talking about a creature who is facing toughest life in his career, that is corporate employee. The life of a corporate employee is very difficult. He is trapped between his team and his bosses. His challenges are coming every day. He is always waiting for the appraisal, which is not coming anymore. He is just waiting, it's going on extending. Mr. Vasandani, do you have any procedure or tools in your book for corporate employees to take over such situations so that he can work with a stronger why and get away with the challenges or failures which he is facing during his career? Mr. Vasandani.
Sir, in this book, how I have divided sections are that in the initial stages, I have showed how can create a problem in the path and how why can put the person on the path to success. Then I have also shown if why is not utilized properly, what could be the dangers. That is about the pros and cons of being in how or being in why. Later part, I have tackled where I have developed the concept and I have defined a procedure what anyone can adopt and achieve success, realize his dreams. Now, as you asked, have I used management tools or procedures? Yes, I have used management tools and management procedures in my book, but I have very subtle manner. I'm myself, as you rightly said, I'm myself a management graduate. I could have used a lot of management jargons, but I have not done that. I've used a very simple language to define these tools and procedures so that anybody can use them. Now, the language is so simple that a common man can accept it and deploy it in his life. In fact, as I said in the beginning, my book is getting a lot of appreciation worldwide. I have received a lot of reviews, a lot of comments from my readers who have complimented me. Majority of them have complimented me about the simplicity in which the book has been written so that everyone can use it. So over to you, sir.
Well, Mr. Vasandani, everybody must be thinking, and so I too feel, you have written a book, complete book on why and how. That means why and how are not so simple. They have got some magic in it. Some has magic, some has pulling back strength. So do you have various forms of this why and how explained in your book? And you have spoken about, you have written in your book about some real life examples for using passion, purpose, and without purpose when we are working with purpose, when we are working with both. So can you tell to our participants for their benefit, when there is a purpose, what situations are those? When there is a passion, what situations are those? When there are both, what are those situations? And what are various forms of why and how, Mr. Vasandani?
Sure, sir. Sir, in my research on how and why, I found that Y has got three different kind of characters. One is crude, other is pleasant, and third is subtle character of Y. Crude form of Y becomes visible when you are questioning somebody. Pleasant form of Y becomes visible when you are inquiring. And subtle form of Y becomes automatically, it comes into existence when you become very clear about the reason or about the purpose why you want to take up that particular task. When you are very clear about your reason, about your why, and your why is very genuine, then your why becomes very strong and you are on the path to success. That is the time subtle why comes into play automatically. And subtle why helps you in recognizing your those strengths which you might not have realized till now on your own. That is what subtle why can do. Coming to how I found has no crude, subtle, it has no three divisions. It has only crude results, and that too in a very, very subtle manner. How actually tries to show you your weaknesses. It creates a lot of negativity. So much of negativity, it shows so much of weaknesses of your own that you are tempted to leave the task itself. You may not continue on that task, you may leave it. And how does it so subtly that you will not even come to know what happened, how that negativity killed your dream. That is what the how can do. And that's what why can make you gain. Regarding passion and purpose, let me give you an example. Now, I'm sure all of us have witnessed a situation of disaster in our lives. Whenever we see a disaster, say train accident or flood or something, you would have noticed or you would have read in the papers that a common man who is nearby, whether he has got any abilities, whether he has got any resources or not, he simply comes into the help to the needy. He simply does it. That is with the purpose. There's no passion there. He has a purpose to help the needy. Now, this cannot be applied to achieving the goals. This is helping somebody in disaster. For achieving the goal, you need passion also along with purpose. Now, talking of a scenario where one has only passion but no purpose. Think of a person, a hypothetical case, that a person goes on the road and says that I have to pull out this lamppost. And he does it with a lot of passion. He's doing all this thing with a lot of passion. They're going to remove this lamppost. Can he do it? There's no purpose there, just passion. He'll never succeed. It's not possible. But when both are there, passion and purpose, then that becomes visible in the incident what Mr. Dashrath Manji achieved in Gaya. He's from Gaya, Gailor Ghati. I'm sure all of us here must have read about that incident about Dashrath Manji. Actually, we all have heard that faith can move mountains. It was Dashrath Manji who actually proved that saying correct. He actually moved the mountain. Single-handedly, he tore upon a hill which was 300 feet eye. He tore through it a passage which was 16 feet wide and 1 kilometer long. Single-handedly he did. And it took him 20 years to simply use a chisel and hammer on that hill, and he created that passage. Now, I'm sure all of us know this incident. I have used this incident in my book and have highlighted how I have analyzed in detail how your passion and purpose work together, what miracle it can create. That analysis is done in detail. Here, let me tell you in brief what happens. In his village, people had to cross this particular hill several times in a day to go to the other side for their work. Now, on one such day, his wife was crossing that hill. She wanted to bring lunch to Dashath Manji. So while climbing that hill, she slipped and broke her ankle. This angered Dashath Manji so much that he took it upon himself to tame the hill. मैं इस पहाड़ी को देख लूंगा, मैं इसे सबक सजा के रहूं. Now, if you see, the whole thing arose from his passion, his love for his wife, and his purpose was to tame the hill. Both were there. That's why he could succeed. But there is one more factor in between. 20 long years hitting on a hill to create a passage is a Herculean task. I'm sure none of us can take up that task. And even if we take it, we will leave it in between. But he didn't leave. Now, what happened was, it happened naturally with him. It was not an effort from his side. His purpose of taming the hill because of his wife's broken ankle grew to become a purpose to create a passage which his village fellows can use to walk through the hill, where they had to climb the hill, 300 feet hill high, several times in the day. And he thought it will benefit his fellow villagers in that extent. So that's how his passion got fed by his emotions. Now, I have quoted one more incident, one more experience in my book, where this analysis of emotions feeding the passion and then ecstasy feeding the emotion is analyzed in a very detailed way. In short, if I say here, your ecstasy will feed your emotions, and your emotions will feed your passion, which is related to why, and it will take you to success. It'll become your food throughout your journey, that you will never leave your journey. That's how that is analyzed in a different experience in a very, very detailed manner. Over to you, sir.
Mr. Vasandani, this strengthens your statement that you had a passion and purpose to benefit the wide spectrum of the society, and that is why you left the job. My another question to you is that you have talked about why and how in your book always, and so far to the participants also, you have spoken about why and how only. And you said that when how is not stronger, why can be stronger. And one can get progress or face the challenges in life. But I have another term or factor, which is also mentioned in our book. You have not talked about it. That is fear factor. Say, I will tell you with the example. You have talked about the lamp post and pulling the lamp post. Suppose I am walking a road during a night, dark, and all lamp posts are gone. There is no light. Total dark is there. I am walking. After some time, I start feeling somebody is following me. And then that fear factor goes into me and
in that particular, it's only a false evidence which appears real to you because of your imagination or your beliefs. Now, I had talked about scientific procedure being defined in the book about changing the attitude. Now, this belief, if you see, this belief comes from your assumptions. You assume that there is somebody. There is actually nobody. Now, when you understand, when you gain more knowledge about the object of your fear, it becomes easier for you to tackle that fear. In this particular case, when we are talking about magic of why, the fear is related to the fear of failure. And because of that fear of failure, people are afraid to take decisions or afraid to take action on those decisions. Once you understand that this fear is only because of your beliefs, your assumptions, and you change those assumptions slightly, your fear goes and you move on to that path. In my book, This Magic of Why, I have devoted one full chapter to tackling the fear. That's the importance I've given to handling fear in my book. Believe me, it becomes very easy once you have the knowledge about the object of fear. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Vasandani. We are already at 4:21 p.m. and chairman is waiting at Gandhinagar. He is waiting for just this webinar only. He has to leave for taking a flight from Gandhinagar to Delhi, Ahmedabad to Delhi. So I will make my questions now short. My last question only is there to you, and please be brief in giving reply to that also. And thereafter, I will hand over the floor to Dr. Vijay Yadav for taking up this question answer session. So my last question to you is that so far you have talked, we have discussed about magic of why and means negativities of how. At last, suppose we have all understood well, and we have some doubt about it somewhere. Maybe we have some doubt. So my question is that how can I develop an urge to recommend my friends and associates to buy your book Magic of Why? Please explain why should I recommend to my friend that he should buy your book and read it on, Mr. Vasandani.
Sir, you'll have to excuse me from answering this question because I feel if I answer this question, I will start blowing my own trumpet, which is not in the right sense. So if you allow me, I would like to share few of the comments and reviews that I have received about my book worldwide. So if you allow me, I'll share that. No.
At the most 5 such comments, Mr. Vasandani, not all, because we don't have much time.
Right, sir. Dr. Vijay Yadav, I'm not able to share. Is there any? Can you share on my behalf?
Now, please try, sir. You should be able to share it.
It says one participant can share at a time.
No,
And it's not allowed.
Well, I have given you the permission. You just try now, sir. Try now,
No.
otherwise I will do it. No issue.
No, sir. I'm not able to do it. I'm sorry, I'm not able to do it. If you
Yeah,
don't mind.
Dr. Yadav, please go ahead and do it yourself.
Okay.
Now, while Dr. Yadav is trying to share the screen, let me say two things. One, your Dr. Vijay Yadav, who is Secretary of NISHTI, was the very first person to secure this book. And thanks to him that he did and set the ball rolling. And I also see Mr. Dilip Gyanchandani here, who also bought the book and who has sent me excellent comments about the book. So instead of reading those comments, I will, if Dr. Yadav and Dr. Shanbag permit, I would like to request Dilip Gyanchandani to speak about his own comments. That's if time
Yes,
permits,
that will
and
be a pleasure.
Dr. Yadav.
Yeah, I think please go ahead and share what you had to say. You were to review the book in any case, so I'm quite okay with another 15-20 minutes being spent on this webinar.
Okay, Mr. Dilip can go ahead. I have given you the co-host permission. Please unmute and go ahead.
Hi, Dr. Shanbag, Dr. Yadav. Good afternoon to everyone. In fact, when I saw the book on NISTI platform, I was excited, The Magic of Why. And recently I got this book and I almost read, I would say 8 to 9 chapters. The book is absolutely nicely narrated with the real life experiences, which can easily relate, that how the magic of why works and how doesn't work. It's about as Ashok Vasandani ji mentions, that the purpose and the passion which drives behind the why, and how naturally creates the fear, and that fear shakes the confidence, and you generally can't achieve the desired dreams and goals. And I could relate with my personal life experiences also. Many times, we keep wondering about how I can achieve this, how I can't do that, and that really shakes the confidence. And many times we drop the task half the way. So this book really is a magic of why. Actually, what Ashok Vasandani mentioned, that normally magician doesn't tell the behind how the secret behind, but this purpose and the passion and the process he has nicely delivered and nicely actually narrated. I was amazed, and I must congratulate Ashok Vasandani ji for nicely put in a very simplistic and very nice manner. And what I really see, that sometimes how creates too much of analysis creates a lot of paralysis. We don't do that because of too much of analyzing the situations. We always think, how can I do that? So all that, but when the why is very strong, when why is a very subtly, nicely creates a purpose and passion, we can normally achieve. And I end to like to add this, with the agar kisi cheez ki चाहत हमें पैशन और पर्पस के साथ दिल से चाहत है, तो पूरी कायनात भी उसमें हमें मिलाने के लिए पूरी कोशिश करती है. So we should not question how about nature's miracle. We should always ask the purpose and passion and to achieve something. So that book has really narrated absolutely wonderfully well. So I must congratulate Mr. Ashok Vasandani ji for that, and also NISTI for having this webinar, and Dr. Shanbag and Dr. Lal and Dr. Yadav for creating such a nice presentation, allowed everyone to join. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Gyanchandani.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I can see Mr. Sanjay Arora is also there and wondering whether he would like to speak something on the book. Mr. Sanjay Arora ji.
Well, namaskar to everybody. We have heard so much, and I'll just summarize my experience in just few words. That crossing through, I'm basically a non-technical person, but having taken a challenge of an assignment which is of purely in technical nature, and the assignment which I am doing for Government of India project is induced by this Magic of Why book, written by Mr. Ashok Vasandani, experiencing my life. I'll just summarize. It is encouraging, and congratulations, Vasandani sir. Namaskar.
Thank you, Arora sir.
Thank you, Sanjay ji. I have few hands raised on in the chat box, and few questions also have been put up. There is a question from gentleman SD. I am giving the permission to unmute Mr. SD. You can speak up and very briefly tell about your question. Mr. SD, please go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Hi. First of all, thank you so much for the great presentation and congratulations on completing the book, Mr. Vasandani.
Thank you.
I had a question. The title of your book, as it reads, it says Magic of Why. I wanted to understand that how magical is how, and also wanted to understand that what is more important in making decisions. So let's say if I want to go to point B from point A, like what can how play a major decisive role in influencing my decision, and can that like degree of significance of how, can it be greater than why in under certain circumstances?
Sir, as I said in my presentation also, if your how becomes strong, chances are you will not be able to take a decision, you will not be able to take action. And forget about moving on the path to success. That's not possible. That is if your how is very strong. That is why I have suggested be on why and achieve your dreams. And that is exactly what has been explained in detail in the book. Just take it. Don't allow your how to rule your decisions.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ashok. Next, we have Mr. Giri from Jalandhar. Mr. Giri, you can please raise your question now. Mr. Giri.
Yeah. Coming. Unmute. Okay, fine. Thank you so much for giving the opportunity, Dr. Lal. Thank you so much for inviting me for this great webinar. Mr. Ashok Vasandani, I mean, you have given a great presentation and it's been very, very engrossing. I have some observation and a question. A learned man was asked what is the secret of his success and why he is so contented. So he said, I know everything in the world, and basically I engage 6 men. They teach me everything. They make me understand everything. And those 6 men were what, when, where, how, why, who. So what I feel is that out of the 6 intelligent men, you have chosen only 2, how and why, and others, of course, their role is also there. Maybe that I mean, it has not been highlighted so much. That is one observation. The second one, we are all human beings. Heart and mind, heart and your head. These 2 things always, there is a duel between these 2. When the question of why comes, heart said something and head said something. And really we get perplexed, where should we go? Thirdly, when we ask this question, as in the beginning, Mr. Lal said, why can't I do it? This is a very positive kind of thing that, it encourages you to take challenges. Second one, the question comes again, why should I? And the third one, it comes, oh God, why me? I mean, all trouble is for me only. And then you have chosen me for all these challenges, for all this trouble. So these are some of the things, which are coming in the mind. Maybe you can enlighten us, on these 2-3 things. Thank you.
Giri sir, you have asked so many questions that I've lost the track of them. I'll try to answer. I'll try to answer.
Some of his some were his observations and some were questions.
So, yeah, I know. Sir, regarding your observation that what, why, how, where, and all that, sir, why I have concentrated on why and how is basically they rule how you take decisions or what kind of decisions you take. Once you have taken a decision, you move on to action. That is where what and where automatically comes into play. And that has been explained in the book very nicely with proper diagrams and all that and proper analysis. I could not mention it in my presentation because I was told the time is short. So when you read the book, you will know exactly how the process works. Now, I'm sorry, can you repeat your question?
No, this is the duel between heart and head.
Sir, regarding duel between heart and head, I don't have to say anything. The philosopher have said very clearly, when there is a duel between heart and mind, follow your heart. You will always be in the right direction.
That's very good. And the third one, when, why me? Oh God, why me?
Sir, that, this sentence of yours, why me? Exactly the same thing I have quoted in my book. And this definitely comes into why me. And you also asked the question about why can't I? Now, why can't I definitely has a positive impact on us to take the right path. But why can't I has its own limitations. Those limitations we have to know. If we do not know those limitations, then we can fall into a greater problem. So, that all, if time permits, it'll take me another 15 minutes to brief that.
Okay.
But if you go through the book, this exactly has been addressed. What could be the pitfall if you don't use why can't I carefully?
Why me itself is the answer to your question. The whole book revolves around why not me? Why I can't do it? How means you are pulling down your why.
True.
Thank you. I'll go through the book. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Giri. Thank you.
Thank you, Giri sir. We have few more hands raised now. I'm just taking one by one. Mr. Agrawala, Indra Mohanji, please unmute and tell your question. Indra Mohanji, please put your question. Indra Mohanji, please unmute. Yes, sir. Indra Mohanji, please speak now. Okay, I think there's some problem. I may now request Mohini ji to raise his question, please. Ms. Mohini.
Yes, good evening to everyone. And I'm Varun Tilwani. I passed my admiration and adoration to Sir Ashok sir. And my question is, on the way of our passion, on the way of our goal, there are many leg pullers. Okay, there are many, people who don't want you to succeed, who want you to fail. Okay, in life and in whatever you are doing, in whatever your endeavor is. So is this book applicable for teenagers like us? Because at that phase, our emotions are unbalanced. We are not at, at the age of 50 to 60, where, our maturity, our patience level, our, knowledge is much higher as you guys have.
Varunji, you are at absolutely right age to read this book, because you are at a stage, you rightly said your emotions are not in control. Yes, at that age, emotions are slightly, not in the same direction, but this book will guide you how to use that part of your emotion to feed your enthusiasm, to feed your why, and will keep you on the path to success. Because it is this emotions which will help you in increasing your enthusiasm, that will help you in tackling those problems and those, like you said, the leg pulling. That leg pulling is the hurdles which you face on the path of your success. And if you know how to how to handle your emotions to feed your why, you will definitely succeed. So please do read this book. It'll help you.
Thank you, sir. May I now invite Indra Mohanji to put his question, please. I think Indra Mohanji is facing some problem. Kuldeep Sharma ji would like to speak something. He has unmuted his mic. Kuldeep ji, would you like to say something?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Yadav, and thank you all the colleagues to make this webinar quite intriguing one and a successful one for the youngsters to take some tips out of it. I would like to share my experience that a close substitute of how and why is 3 tips. One is the power of analysis. How strong and how analytical is your power of question? Again, it boils down to the same: why this, why this, why this, why this not. Then willpower and sankalp, which is known as sankalp. And third is focus on doing anything. Whenever we question, this is what is the focus which comes for a particular purpose. And all these tips or the tools are underlying spirit in the various why, when, how, and when not. So many six men which were referred by someone. Then if this is the crux, then why to go an indirect way, indirectly to the book or the suggested measures in the book, rather than positively enhancing the attributes in these areas when you look for the corporate excellence or excellence in any walk of the life in your assignments. Thank you.
Sir, you have shared the experience, or do you want me to answer some question?
It is observation.
Yes, sir. I have shared now the compliments which you have received.
Yes, sir.
Is my screen visible?
Yes,
yes,
it is
sir.
visible. It is
Okay.
visible.
So, Mr. Vasandani, you would like to go one by one?
Yeah, the first one, the Director Operations Talcher Fertilizers, you had already invited Mr. Sanjay Arora. He is the person who has given this comment. The book has created an impact into my personal career and has been a great motivator and guide. Mr. Vijay Vata is the MD of Wave Pharmaceutical, which have been into the molecule development and exporting to all other countries. Actually, Mr. Vijay Mata is also online just now. If you have time, you can ask him to speak, but I'll read his comments. He says, It transforms the thinking process comfortably and effortlessly. Then there is Dr. Mark Avery. He is a senior lecturer in health service management, Griffith University, Australia. He procured the book in Australia, read it, and wrote a comment. It is a great book. I value the arguments raised in the book and love the stories of Dashrath Manji and Durgadas. He had taken the pains to phone me also and tell me that when he read the book, the next week he had a class in which he is going to speak about how to use why and how to avoid how. He could draw the parallel between the book and in his lecture. Then, of course, Mr. Dilip Gyanchandani, who spoke a lot about the book, and he also wrote very interesting comments. He says, I must say that Magic of Why is wonderful. I too admit that many times how is deterrent and takes away enthusiasm of achieving your dream goals. I think most of us might have experienced similar situation when how overtakes why due to circumstances or maybe fear factor of too much of analysis creates paralysis. Then another interesting is Dr. Sudarshan Dang. He's a practitioner, medical practitioner in New York, USA. He procured the book there and he wrote the comment. Splendid job, written very simplistically, and I hope everyone think like you have displayed in your book and achieve success in their endeavor. You want me to read further, sir, or time permitting or not?
Yeah, you can quickly cover, sir.
Okay. Then this is Dr. Dhana Shankaran. He is additional general manager of Nuclear Corporation of India, NPCIL as we know them in the short, Nuclear Power Corporation of India. He wrote, the author has deliberately avoided using complex jargons and has instead used simple words to effectively explain the concept so that anyone and everyone can use them to create this magic in their lives. The book is worth reading several times. Good insight instilled in. Then there is this Muralidhar Warrior. He is a financial advisor, very well-established financial advisor. He wrote, this book carefully dissects the role of magic of why in our lives. It also guides us to be alert to that our why is not hijacked by our how. Peppered with real-life examples, the author chaperones the reader in realizing the full potential of the book. And then there's Dr. Ms. Jhumar Banerjee. She is PhD in food engineering and nutrition, and she is a consultant for food product development and child nutrition. She wrote to me, as learners, we are always asked to be conscious of the why in our lives. This book allows and inspires to understand the great impact of why by means of many beautiful examples. The language is simple and lucid, therefore making it a valuable book for everyone in the field of research and learning. So over to you, sir.
So it was a nice talk, Mr. Ashok. And if I can see there are no more questions, so Professor Shanbag, shall we end this talk now?
Well, if you think that there are no more questions and no raised hands, I think we can bring this to an end.
Okay.
It's been a wonderful experience for the last 75 minutes or so, listening to all the dramatis personae who have been sort of, engaged quite and immersed quite intensely in this book. And just as magicians do, Mr. Vasandani has just gone that much far, but not further, to reveal the whole thing so that the interest in the book is alive and the book is read. Obviously, that is the expectation of every author. And I would like to thank Mr. Ashok Vasandani for keeping us very well engaged on a Saturday afternoon. Leaving a lot of food for thought. I'd like to thank Dr. Lal for very ably conducting the question and answer session. And Dr. Lal has received so many compliments during the proceedings itself. Thank you, Dilip, for sharing your comments with us, and to all the participants. At one point, we had for a subject matter such as this, nearly 75 interested people in the audience, and that speaks very well, both for the message that the book might be, providing for all to hear and to read, for that matter, and also, it gives a lot of encouragement to NIST to look for out of the box subject areas for the interest of professionals. Obviously, professionals have gone beyond technology, so to speak, and we shall keep your interest alive in out of the box subject matter. So thank you once again to all of you, and if you could kindly go to www.nistregd.in and explore the website of NIST. You will find a lot that you will be able to appreciate about what NIST does, but more importantly, you will be able to find ways and means by which you can associate with NIST and being a part of the professional bandwagon that NIST has been and shall be. Thank you very much to all of you, and have a good evening, and wish you a wonderful Sunday.
And one more announcement we can make now, adding to what Professor Shanbag has just said. We have next in the series a talk by Dr. Nandan Kumar, who is a director at High Performance Textile Private Limited, Panipat, and will soon come out with the further details on the program. And keeping in view the current interesting crosstalks now today with Mr. Ashok, we would like to have the journey continued, and every month or so we will be coming out with the similar kind of crosstalks, both technical and motivational in nature. And the next talk is on the technical aspect by Dr. Nandan Kumar. With these words, I close my words. Thank you so much.
Thanks to all of you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Yadav. Thank you, Dr. Swanbag. The meeting or webinar went on very well. You are very nicely organized. And thanks to you for giving it so much publicity, sending posters. I think you don't sleep at all. You are always on the move to send this message for attending this webinar, that webinar, and all. You are very active. I really appreciate you, Dr. Yadav.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And for the information of everyone, this meeting has went live on YouTube, and soon it would be posted on the YouTube as a permanent link. So we'll come back to you. Thank you so much, and good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.